Princess Kira of the Vellani Empire stood on the crystalline balcony of her palace, watching another suitor's ship depart into the starlit void. The seventh rejection this cycle, and certainly not the last. Her father, Emperor Dran, would summon her again tomorrow with another potential match from another noble house across the galaxy. The Vellani were known throughout the cosmos for their ethereal beauty and powerful telepathic abilities. Kira possessed both in abundance, with silver skin that shimmered like liquid starlight and eyes that held the depth of nebulae. Yet, despite countless proposals from princes, generals, and wealthy merchants from dozens of species, she remained unmoved. "You cannot refuse them all forever," warned her advisor, an elderly Vellani named Tor, who had served the royal family for centuries. "The Emperor grows impatient with your rejections." Kira turned from the window, her luminous hair flowing like captured moonbeams. "They see only my title and my appearance. None seek to know who I truly am beneath the crown." The next morning brought news that would change everything. A human delegation had arrived seeking an audience with the Emperor. Humans were relatively new to galactic politics, having achieved faster-than-light travel only decades ago. Most established civilizations viewed them as primitive curiosities from a backwater planet. Captain Jack Morgan led the human diplomatic mission. Unlike the elaborate entourages of other species, his team consisted of just 3 people in simple uniforms. They sought a trade agreement for rare minerals found in Vellani space, nothing more. Emperor Dran granted them an audience, more out of amusement than genuine interest. Princess Kira observed from the royal gallery, expecting another display of fumbling alien diplomacy. Instead, she watched Captain Morgan present his case with quiet confidence and surprising knowledge of galactic law. When the formal meeting ended, Kira found herself curious enough to seek out the human captain in the palace gardens. She approached using her telepathic abilities to mask her presence, intending to observe him undetected. "You can come out," Jack said without turning around, his voice carrying gentle humor. "I may not be telepathic, but I've learned to sense when I'm being watched." Embarrassed at being discovered, Kira stepped into view. "How did you know?" "Instinct. Mostly. On my world, survival often depends on awareness of your surroundings." He turned to face her, and Kira was struck by his complete lack of reverence. Most beings either bowed deeply or stared in awe upon meeting her. Jack simply nodded politely. "You're the princess everyone talks about," he observed. "The one whose turned down half the galaxy." "Word travels quickly," Kira replied, defensive, not judging. "Just wondering what you're looking for that you haven't found yet." The question surprised her with its directness. Someone who sees me as more than a prize to be won. Makes sense. Back home, we have a saying about putting people on pedestals. Hard to have a real conversation when one person is way up there, and the other is looking up from way down here. Their first conversation lasted hours. Jack spoke of Earth, of humanity's struggles and triumphs, of his own journey from a small farming community to captain of a starship. He asked about her interests beyond royal duties, her thoughts on art and philosophy, her dreams for the future. For the first time in her life, Kira felt truly heard. The trade negotiations stretched on for weeks, much to Emperor Dran's growing irritation. The humans proved remarkably stubborn in their demands for fair terms, refusing to be intimidated by the Empire's military might. Captain Morgan argued that sustainable partnerships required mutual respect, not submission. During this time, Kira and Jack met regularly in secret. She showed him the hidden parts of the palace, shared ancient Vellani poetry, and taught him to appreciate the subtle art of crystal singing. He introduced her to human music, told stories of Earth's diverse cultures, and treated her as an equal in all their discussions. "Your people conquered half the galaxy through superior technology and telepathic advantages. Jack observed one evening as they walked through the moonlit gardens. But you've never had to learn diplomacy as a survival skill. Humans had to develop it because we're not the strongest or smartest species on our own planet. Is that why you refuse to simply accept whatever terms my father offers? Kira asked. Partly, but mostly because true strength comes from knowing when not to use force. Anyone can demand submission from a weaker opponent. It takes wisdom to build something that lasts. Emperor Dran finally lost patience with the prolonged negotiations. He summoned Jack to a private meeting and made his position clear. Accept the Empire's terms or leave. Velani space immediately. I have another proposition, Jack replied calmly. A marriage alliance. The Emperor's eyes widened with surprise and greed. A union between his daughter and this human could provide unique advantages in expanding into human territory. You seek my daughter's hand? Dran asked, calculating the political benefits. I seek her choice, Jack corrected. If Princess Kira agrees to marry me, our peoples can be true allies. If she refuses, I'll respect her decision and we'll find another way forward. When Kira learned of Jack's proposal, she was stunned, not by the offer itself, but by how he had presented it. He had given her father the political victory he craved, while ensuring she retained the power to decide her own fate. Why? She asked when they met that night. Because you deserve to choose your own path, Jack replied simply. And because I've fallen in love with who you really are, not what you represent. Kira had never experienced the vulnerability of genuine love. The telepathic bonds common among her people were based on mental compatibility and shared purpose. This human emotion was rawer, deeper, built on acceptance rather than understanding. I've spent my life rejecting suitors who saw only my crown, she said, reaching for his hand. Yet here stands someone who would be content with just my heart. Their wedding became legendary throughout the galaxy. Not for its grandeur, though. The ceremony was magnificent, but for what it represented. A princess who had refused emperors and warlords chose a simple human captain who treated her as an equal. The marriage transformed both their peoples. The Velani learned that true strength lay not in domination, but in partnership. Humanity gained not just a powerful ally, but proof that even the mightiest civilizations could be moved by simple human virtues, honesty, respect, and the courage to see others as they truly are. Princess Kira had found what she never knew she was searching for. Someone who loved her not despite her power, but regardless of it. In Jack, she discovered that the greatest conquest was not of worlds or peoples, but of two hearts choosing to become one.